The way we consume and share news today, it is largely rooted in social media outlets, a reason why it's crucial to look at what's being discussed online. From the hottest issues to trends for daily social media minute, we're joined by Erica. Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Joining us from your home. That's good news.
Yeah, I have to jet as soon as this is over.
All right, so let's get to it. So there are a few buzzwords that's grabbing our attention. G-Dragon being booked for alleged drug use, J-Hope Street. But let's start with this one. The Supreme Court dismisses Buseoksa's appeal as, well, the statue ownership dispute continues. What's the backstory here?
Yeah, so we're going to get to all of that. But first, yesterday, on Thursday, the Supreme Court delivered a verdict. And by doing so, it resolved this intense legal battle that's been going on for years now over the ownership of a 14th century Bodhisattva statue. So a Korean Buddhist temple, Buseoksa, had claimed that the artifact was unlawfully stolen by Japanese pirates during the end of the Koryo era. However, the court yesterday dismissed this assertion, and it determined that the statue rightfully belongs to Japan.
All right, so what was the court's reason for reaching this decision?
Yeah, so the key element in the court's decision was the concept of acquisitive prescription under Japan's civil law. Now, this legal principle allows an entity to gain ownership of an asset if it has been held peacefully and openly for an extended period of time, typically at least 20 years. Now, Kannonji Temple in Japan is where the statue had been kept. It secured its status as a legal entity back in 1953. At the time, this reinforced its longstanding claim to the possession of the statue. Now, the recent court case dates back to 2012, when a Korean group, they illicitly took the bronze Bodhisattva statue from Japan's Kannonji Temple, and there was a joint investigation, a meticulous one at that, by various agencies at the time. The culprits who took the statue from Japan faced arrest and prosecution in 2013.
And I mean, this is not a small statue, so I'm wondering, and then what happened to the statue itself?
Yeah, so at the time, the statue was entrusted to the care of the National Institute of Cultural Heritage here in Korea. Buseoksa Temple subsequently started legal proceedings to prevent the statue from being sent back to Japan. At the time, it alleged historical theft by Japanese pirates that happened many, many, many years ago. Now, the legal back and forth saw several shifts in momentum because courts offered rulings in favor of both sides at different junctures. Now, in spite of Buseoksa's legal efforts and historical arguments, the Supreme Court's final judgment leaned towards Japan's claim. It cited a lack of compelling evidence to corroborate the uninterrupted historical lineage of the statue back to Korea's Buseoksa Temple.
I mean, you said that the court case dates back to 2012. In the course of 10 years, I mean, the political pendulum swings back and forth. And unfortunately, that does have effect on, it seems, some of these legal decisions.
That's right.
All right. Why do I have a feeling this is just not the end of it? But that's the latest ruling by the Supreme Court anyway.
Yep.
All right, on to our second buzzword of the day. The nature of these drug investigations in Korea goes one way. If a high-profile celebrity is named, then comes a long list of others who are investigated. G-Dragon is elated to be booked for alleged illicit drug use.
Yeah, this news surfaced actually, was it yesterday, the day before?
Speculations ran for a few days, right?
Yeah, but I wanted to wait it out a little bit just to make sure. But what we know for now is the police, they opened an official investigation into K-pop star G-Dragon concerning his illegal drug use. Now, according to the Incheon Police Agency, the investigation into G-Dragon is actually separate from the recent investigations into actor Lee Sun-gyun.
So the Incheon Police Agency was also careful to word their press release in a way to clarify that there is no correlation between the Lee Sun-gyun case and the G-Dragon case, but they didn't elaborate further on the investigation process with Kwon Ji-young. Now, G-Dragon was also previously questioned for marijuana use back in 2011 by the Korean prosecution, but he was let off pretty easy back then.
That's right. He was suspended at the time. He confessed then that he inhaled substances unintentionally. Going back to G-Dragon and his career, I mean, he debuted in 2006 as a member of Big Bang under YG Entertainment. I mean, they enjoyed huge success throughout the late 2000s. And for a few years moving forward from then. And in the latest news surrounding this latest high-profile drug case, the police said they have opened an investigation into this unnamed doctor who is suspected of supplying drugs to actor Lee Sun-gyun and singer G-Dragon. The police said they began investigating the doctor. They received a tip-off about illegal drugs being distributed at a members-only club, which Lee Sun-gyun was reportedly a member of. The police suspect that the doctor provided illegal drugs to Lee Sun-gyun and G-Dragon for free.
So the number of people being investigated by the Incheon Police Agency for drug-related charges has now reached a total of 10. Some are less high-profile, some are definitely high-profile.
That's right. The manager of the club is currently detained on charges of psychoactive drug use. She's also accused of extorting $259,000 or 350 million won.
For alleged blackmail, right?
Yes, from Lee Sun-gyun. An official investigation has been opened for an employee of the club. There are also internal investigations that are underway into 5 other people, including broadcaster turned composer Jung Da-eun, former K-pop trainee Han Seo-hee, and Hwang Hana, who is a granddaughter of the founder of Namyang Dairy Products. Now, again, the police say G-Dragon's case is separate from the current string of investigations and all the names that I just mentioned.
And some of those names have frequent headlines for alleged drug use in the past.
Drugs.
And in some cases, they were tried and found guilty. So repeat offense gets harsher punishments. We'll have to wait and see how this pans out. But I mean, it's hard for us to kind of separate these cases. I think in our head, we like to group it. We create a narrative. But until there are further police reports, maybe we should steer clear of speculations. There's just way too much of that. All right, on to our final buzzword of the day. Gwangju proceeds with J-Hope Street. It sounds wonderful. What's the problem?
Well, the artist himself is not actually involved in this project. Neither is his agency, Big Hit. We know that cities in the past have tied their local attractions to big celebrities.
You don't say.
It brings in money. It attracts visitors. And I can definitely see, the
appeal.
The appeal for sure. Now, something similar is happening right now in Bukgu, in Gwangju, which is the hometown of J-Hope. And the district has this idea to create a street to celebrate the star's roots and to attract visitors. But it gets a little bit tricky because Bukgu district has rolled out these grand plans, and he even got big funds worth billions of won together. But they forgot one crucial part, which is getting the green light from J-Hope and his agency, Big Hit Entertainment.
I don't understand, because eventually the idea of any tourist attraction is to attract attention. And once that spotlight is cast on you, what do you intend to do? Oops, we had no idea that we needed copyright approval.
Right, exactly. The local government, it seems to have some grand plans up its sleeve. It's even envisioning organizing fan meetings in the city. But Big Hit, its stance is pretty clear. They said they're not cool with having J-Hope's name and image used without proper permission. It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And Pukgu district did not get that proper permission from J-Hope nor his agency. Now, the office of Pukgu, they heard the memo, right?
Yeah.
And now it seems to be backpedaling a little bit.
Mm.
They're now saying that the idea was more about spreading hope and not entirely centered around J-Hope's name.
So how do you go about explaining that fan meeting? How do you have a fan meet and greet with hope? Although that sounds beautiful, that sounds out of reach.
Right.
The problem is this isn't the first time something like this has happened. In Daegu, there was similar plans to name a street after famous director Bong Joon-ho, but that never came into fruition either.
No, because again, that project didn't get proper permissions either. Now, some people are criticizing these moves, projects by local governments. People are calling them hasty. And they're overly reliant on celebrity names to sort of like, promote these tourist attractions. It does make you wonder, couldn't they have, gone about doing this in a better way?
Also, understanding there is proper protocol to use a celebrity, just actually celebrity, to promote a city. But for more than that, and I might get in trouble for this because BTS is forever, long live BTS, but a shelf life of a pop culture artist is supposed to be limited. And so could it really serve as a more sustainable, permanent fixture to bring in tourists years and years and years from now?
Yeah, that's right, exactly. And many of these tourist attractions, I don't know, they promote it in such a way that a lot of visitors come, but they end up being disappointed because there's usually just one statue, a photo, whatever wall,
Yeah.
and that's about it. There's nothing more than that.
And wouldn't the idea be to have these tourists return to the same spot and have a reason to do so? Now, a photo wall is great, but I feel like that's a one-time thing.
Right, exactly. You want these visitors to recommend these tourist attractions to their friends and family. Go there, it's great. To promote these attractions through word of mouth, it's so important. But I don't know, you're right. Whether these types of tourist attractions are sustainable, that's another story.
But on a side note, long live BTS.
That too. That too.
Thank you very much, Erica, for today's coverage. Have a safe weekend. We'll see you next Monday.
Bye. See you next week.
If you're listening to our program using the podcast service, just a reminder that we do go live Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Korea Standard Time. So tune in and help us make the show more informative by giving us your input. See you bright and early on Good Morning Seoul.